deep down, I think we always know where we're going. I definitely didn't choose the most linear path to get here, but for me, this journey is personal. I'm Laura Crane, and I'm a big wave surfer. I was born in Bristol. I lived there until I was about 8 years old, and my parents decided that they wanted to give me and my brother a more outdoors, adventurous lifestyle, and they moved to North Devon. We moved to a small beach called Croyd Bay, and that was the place that I fell in love with the ocean. The thing that I loved so much about the ocean was that nothing was ever the same, and that it was always exciting and changing, and that for me was definitely where I started to, I guess, find the person that I really was. I then started to compete in surf competitions and build my confidence in the ocean, and there was back then not very many women in the water, and I always remember feeling that I had something to prove. Within 2 years of doing local competitions, I started to do the national contest. I became British champion the first year, and I got sponsored by Billabong pretty much straight after that and started traveling the world at the age of 13. Well, I wasn't academic at school at all, and surfing and sport in general had always felt like my superpower. It was always just this safe place I had to go and just to really be myself, and I think it was the first place I really felt confidence in the person that I really was. 12-year-old Laura was a force to be reckoned with. The only thing that I 100% knew I really wanted to do was to surf. I was probably one of under 10 women in the UK that were really managing to make a career from surfing. There was a lot of doubt, definitely, in me and my ability and how far I could take it. And I think no matter what the media says that you should and shouldn't do, or no matter what the people within the industry think you should and shouldn't do, deep down I think we always know where we're going. At the age of 21, I decided to retire from the industry. I don't think a surfer ever retires from surfing, but I definitely needed time out of the industry. In my short lifetime of surfing, from the age of 12 till 21, the industry had changed a lot, and there was so much more opportunity for surfing for females. We were starting to be just seen, and in turn I think I had seen that my value to the brands that were paying me to live this life was definitely my appearance and my ability to market their products, and not knowing in the moment I think how deep that was really cutting. I got kind of wrapped up in this world of social media, and knowing that I needed to do likes and views and to effectively have fame to keep my surfing sponsorships. And I think that sucked all of the love that I had originally had for surfing, and I developed an eating disorder which kind of controlled my life for those next 10 years. In that time it was definitely a need to know who Laura really was, because I think there was such a sure 100% no one can tell me anything when I was kind of in those teen years, and then you start to grow up and you start to see the views of other people in the world and what they think you should be, and there wasn't much representation for women actually being able to just go after their pure potential. That takes a toll, and I needed time out. I left my sponsors and I moved to London, did some TV work and just a totally different industry. I was very separate from the ocean and from just nature in general, and living in the city definitely forced me to understand who I really was. It had made me realize that I was right when I was 12 and I was meant to be a surfer. And it didn't take long for me to get called back to the ocean. The biggest turning point was definitely getting therapy for my eating disorder. I've struggled with bulimia for 15 years and it ran my life. And I think the moment that I decided to take back control of my eating disorder, I also took back control of every other aspect in my life. I taught myself that the only controller that really matters and the only opinion that really matters is always going to be my own. It was learning that I had the power within me to create whatever thing I wanted in my life and just had to put in some work. And I think I had been afraid to put in the work. I'd been afraid of failure for a long time and afraid to not be good enough for the industry and to not be good enough for all the people that had come before me. And once I kind of just totally got unlocked from those shackles, it was freeing. Like, I realized that all those things that young Laura thought she could do, that she probably could. My relationship with food, it's like we're friends now. Before I saw it as like this kind of enemy that had control over me and that would make me fat. And that was my biggest value in the world, was how my body looked. So if I was to get fat, then this evil thing would come. Whereas now it's like, I need you because without you, I cannot do the things that I really love. I wanted to always shrink myself. I wanted to be smaller. I wanted to be less. I wanted to just blend in. And then all of a sudden, the therapy kind of comes in and you start to get this confidence back. I also started to see my body change shape, and for the first time in my life, I was really proud because I'd always been inspired by strong women, but I felt myself becoming one. We are working in harmony now. My coach has known me since I was about 12 years old. He just messaged me one day. He was like, yeah, this is really cool, Laura, but like, what's the goal with all this training? Like, what are you actually heading for? I took the message and I was kind of thinking, yeah, like, what are you training for? And then my little brother had just kind of got back into surfing. We went and surfed this like novelty kind of big wave spot at home and had just the best day. Like, I had so much fun. And in that moment, I knew that I wanted to surf big waves. So when I got this message from my now coach, he said to me, I think you'd be an incredible toe surfer. And I was like, well, if he sees something in me, then there must be, you know, this thing that I'm feeling inside of me, this kind of like ball of fire that I'm trying to keep down, but is like ready to just explode out of me. He sees it. I went to France not last summer, the summer before, and I learned to toe surf. And about 3 months later, we drove down to Nazaré and I surfed Nazaré for the first time. Since the day that I decided to chase big waves, there has never been a moment of doubt in pursuing it. When I arrived to Nazaré, the 100-foot wave, it was definitely talked about. And I think it's funny, it's kind of like this mythical creature. But for me, this journey is personal, and it's definitely more about me and me and my connection to the ocean and proving to myself that only I know what's best for me. And, you know, there may become a day in the near future that I feel is too big for me, and I'm okay with that. I don't know if it'll come, but it might do. And I think if you attached to all of these numbers and these goals and these records and the contests, then you really quickly start to lose the love for the thing that you started. The mental preparation, again, I think it comes from resilience, definitely, and you have got to have been through tough things to be able to get through tough things, but it's how you then implement them into your day-to-day life. Since I started toe surfing, so like big wave surfing, I have definitely seen the importance of foot strength. Toe surfboards are anywhere from about 4 kilograms to up to 11 to 12 kilograms, so that's like having, I guess, a barbell with 2 weights attached to the bottom of your feet while you're going down a wave. So Everything from the sole of your feet, the space between your toes, being able to grab on a bit stronger, the kind of mobility through your ankles and the way that your kind of feet can regain stability when they're unstable is the difference between you getting a 60-foot wave on the head or making it out. And your only connection between you and the board are your feet. If you don't have strong feet, then you don't have much, honestly. I definitely didn't choose the most linear path to get here. The advice I would give to myself if I was in the same position I was in a few years ago, of kind of just feeling a little bit lost, and I don't know, the early to mid-20s are just such a roller coaster of feeling, again, like what you should do, what you want to do, and then this big gap in between of actually putting it into practice and starting to chip away at that journey. I would say, yeah, just to start now, to start taking control, even if it's just to start reading a bit more or just starting to put a little bit of knowledge behind that one thing that you would like to pursue. Just don't close your eyes to it. Like, really imagine yourself doing it and being it, and it will happen, but you have to put the work in. But it's fun. The journey is the work, and for me, one of the most fun things is actually pursuing all of the things that it actually takes to get that end product. Because the end product for me here is over in 20 seconds. So it's everything that comes together to get that end product. That's the real prize, I think. Everything that I've had to overcome to get to this position now, yeah, just, it all makes sense.